What's up, guys? The Gibberish here, and we got some crazy stuff with this next Hearthstone expansion. We have a lot of cards to talk about, including Librams. Librams are going to be a very interesting thing for Paladin. A new Aviana, basically, is what we're getting, and a crazy Hunter spell, which I think could be quite powerful. So let's get into it.
You get a hat, and you get a hat.
So we're going to start with Librams today. Librams, if you don't know, are like this new kind of thing that they're doing for Paladin. They're basically cards with Libram in them have special mechanics. And so they start off as cards that are very expensive, but then you have ways of making them cheaper as you go along. And as of right now, we have 5 Libram cards. So we're just going to reveal all of these right now. We're going to talk about all 5 of them at the same time. So let's just start with each one. Aldor Attendant, as you can see, has a battle cry. It's a 2-cost 2/3 common for Paladin. Aldor Attendant. Battle cry, reduce the cost of Librams by 1 this game. Alright? And so Librams are very strong, as you can see, and they're very, very powerful. So that card is meant to reduce the cost of a Libram. It's made to make your cards a little cheaper. Aldor Truth Seeker is a Libram. He's a 5-cost 4/6 taunt battle cry. Reduce the cost of your Librams by 2 this game. Now, he's not a Libram himself, but he works with the Libram cards. And now, those are the 2 cards that we have so far that cheapen Librams. Let me show you the cards that are Librams. Libram of Hope is a 9-cost epic spell for Paladin. Restore 8 health. Summon an 8/8 taunt guardian with taunt and divine shield. So that's pretty expensive for 9. But they showed that if you reduce this to as much as you could with the cards that we saw, you can make this very, very cheap. All right. So if you reduce this with the 2 cards we saw, you put 2 copies of each in your deck. All right. So 1 card reduces it by 2, so that's 4, and then another card reduces it by 1, that's 2. So you could get this down to 3 mana if you wanted to. That's pretty crazy. All right. 3 mana, 5 mana. Whatever you wanted, but you could reduce that, and so gain a 3 mana, restore 8 health through 3 mana alone is okay, but then gain an 8/8 taunt, that's pretty major. But you wouldn't be able to play this to the late game, so it's still balanced, but it's still pretty crazy. Then we have Libram of Wisdom, which is a give a minion +1/+1 and death throw, add a Libram of Wisdom spell to your hand. Now this card is just like the Hunter Explorer Cat, whatever it was. I think it's called Explorer's Hat. It was a 2-cost spell to give a minion 1/1 and add the spell back to your hand. It's the exact same card, except for it's a Libram, so you can make it cheaper. So that is an interesting effect to it. And then Libram of Justice is a 6-cost 1/4 weapon. Spell that equips a 1/4 weapon. It's a common and it changes all the health of enemy minions to 1. So that's pretty horrible, but if you cheapen it, you can get that for free, or you can get that for 1 or 2, 3 mana, which makes it a lot better. I would say if you got it to the point of 4, it would be worth it just because it's equality. So if you were playing like an equality Wrath Paladin deck, I could see it, but the thing about these Librams is they're going to be very interesting. I can see them working. They're a very late game spell deck, and I think that could be interesting for Paladin. So Librams, I'm not even sure what to really think about them. I just know that they have some very interesting potential. So now that we're moving away from Librams, we are going into new cards, starting with one of the most crazy ones I'm excited about, Yasiel Windsinger. She's a 9-cost 5/5 Druid. Look familiar? She's legendary. Your spells cost 1. So instead of your minions cost 1, your spells cost 1. So this is very obviously similar to Aviana, who was a beloved card, and now this one's the same thing, but it's very interesting. You got a lot of cool combinations to go with it, and we can see a lot of cool things happen with it. Off the top of my head, I can't really see you getting to 10 mana with this card, like immediately. I can see you using like Nourish to gain mana crystals, so you could try that. But besides that, I'm not really sure if there's a way to use that right away. But this is still a crazy, crazy card that has a lot of cool potentials. If you could do this using Malygos, alright, got Malygos, 1-cost swipe. Pretty crazy. So, really cool potential with Malygos in combination decks that people are going to love. Germination is a 4-cost druid spell. It's a rare, and it says summon a copy of a friendly minion. Give the copy top. Generically, in any other class, I would probably say this card would be garbage, but we have seen cards similar to this work for Druid in the past. Druid has a lot of ways of doing stuff like this, so I'm not going to rule it out yet. I think Druid has possibilities to make it work. The Grand Slam. That's such a cool card. It's a 10-cost Hunter spell. It's an epic. It says summon 4/3/5 Clefhoots that attack random enemies. Now, this card, guys, is crazy. For 10 mana, you're going to get to deal 12 damage and get minions at the end of it. If they have let's say you're going against like a very aggressive deck, this card is great because you play it and it attacks the minions and gets rid of it. And if you're playing an aggressive deck, this card is fine. It's pretty expensive, so be careful. But you can't make it work because that's 12 damage to the face plus a board. So it's pretty major. I'm a big fan of the card, and I love the artwork for it. It looks really cool. Magnathal Lion. It's a 4-cost 5/2. Battlecry, choose a friendly minion, gain a copy of its Death Rattle. So it looks like Death Rattle Hunter is coming back with some interesting stuff. These cards aren't typically used because they're so... Like, this card will only be used in Death Rattle decks, most likely. I don't see it working in anything else. The stats aren't the greatest. It's a beast, so that is a benefit. But the problem is that it's so specific to Death Rattle that unless Death Rattle decks become one of the top tier decks, which is possible, it's happened before, then this card won't see much play. Sutekh Val Weaver. It's a 2-cost 2/3 epic priest spell. After you cast a spell on the minion, add a priest spell to your hand. So this is very, very interesting. We don't really know what the priest archetype is going to be. It's going to be very interesting with seeing how it'll play and all of that. I mean, there's no real way to see how it's going to work. It looks like there are going to be a lot of buffs because it looks like Zoo Priest is going to be a thing from the cards that we're seeing. So this could be a very strong card in this if the priest spells are more spells that buff your minion, because this could be like a chain reaction. Priestess of Fury is a 7-cost 6/7 demon for Demon Hunter. It's rare, and it says at the end of your turn, deal 6 damage, randomly split among all enemies. Among all enemies, guys, is very important. Among all minions, that's good. But among all enemies makes this a lot stronger in some regards. Now, it does have the problem in not being specific because, like, that is also a downside because, you know, maybe if you want to kill that minion but it goes mainly to the face, that could be a problem. But this is still a very strong card. It's very similar to the Leroy Jenkins card for Mage. This only difference is that it's now, you don't need that, and it's arguably better. I don't think so, but it could be considered that. Fel Summoner is a 6-cost 8/3 stats common for Demon Hunter. Death Rattle, summon a random demon from your hand. So this is a very interesting card. It's very big. My problem with this is that it's so... These cards have a hard time making it off in the meta because they usually are so clunky and there are so many ways to get rid of it. Now, it does have the benefit of having the Death Rattle, which will make it harder to deal with. The Death Rattle will make it where you have to deal with more of the silencing factor rather than, oh, he's just going to die factor. So there is that benefit, and if you're playing a big Demon Hunter, which I hope is a thing, it could be good. Ironbark is a 2-cost Ironbark is a 2-cost druid spell. It's rare and it says give a minion +1/+3 and taunt. It costs 0 if you have at least 7 mana crystals. Now this is a very interesting card. I think this is a very good card. It's only 2 mana, and you give a minion +1/+3, +1/3 and taunt. So this makes it very strong for your good old friend Treant Druid. But if you're in the later game, this card isn't going to be as good, right? But you still get a bonus. So a lot of times these cards kind of have a hard time in the later game because, you know, after a while they're just not as good. Because, you know, You don't really want to waste that mana, but giving this 0 allows you to do a lot more combinations in the late game to help you make up for it. So because of that, this card makes a very interesting card. Coilfang Warlords, a cost 9/5 Demon Hunter card. Rush, Death Rattle, summon a 5/6 Warlord with Taunt. Now, this is very interesting. The Warlord part helps it create a more... the fact that you get a Taunt, a 5/9, is very interesting. 5 health can be kind of hard to kill right away, but it has so much attack that I'm inclined to like it. If it was a demon, I would definitely be on board and say this card was amazing. But because it's not, it's very big and clunky, and you don't see a lot of big clunky minions make it through that. So cards like Void Lord and all the new demons we're getting are great because they have synergies with demons. This one does not, and that's why I had doubts for it. And there you go, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A lot of cards, a lot of interesting things. And Librams look really interesting, and I'm excited about them. The new Demon Hunter prologue will be coming out soon. Check out my video on that when I talk about that. And there are 4 new Demon Hunter standard cards that come out, including 2 legendaries, an A-cost spell, and a basic card that looks pretty broken to me. So check out that video for those cards. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye!